amazing flyby by the Georgia National Guard, and you got an observation helicopter up there filming, I'm sure. But the four-ship formation just flew over Section 11 and over by the parade ground, and just beautiful to see the tribute. I'm right here in Section 11 where Zane is, and we just saw the helicopters fly past. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Speaking of Zane. March the 28th. Last week, I think I closed out by saying next week would be April. I was wrong. And we're still in March. I forget, March is a long month, 31 days, I believe. But good to have everybody here on March 28th, 137th week for Speaking of Zane. 137th week. Hope you enjoyed the little video there. I'm just experimenting with a little prelude activity, maybe, and just to put more content out there, maybe some things you folks haven't seen, and maybe start the session with a clip of something and end the session with a clip. But good to have everybody in there the weekend before Easter. So we've got the week before Easter ahead of us. Good to have everybody in there. We've got Ken down in Florida. Ken, hope things are going well from you. Haven't seen much from you this week, so I hope that's a good thing. And Daryl is in there. Daryl, I'm going to talk about you in a minute. You've had some good activity this week. Good to see you out and about. And Jim Miller's in there. Hey, Jim. Good to have you in there. And Aunt Cindy's in there. Hello, Aunt Cindy, over in Alabama. How are you? Good to have you in there. And did you guys fare okay with the recent weather over there in the Montgomery area? Aunt Cindy, I think you did. I know there was some bad weather over there north of you guys and south of you guys. And we had a pretty serious tornado down in Noonan, Georgia, that did a lot of damage to downtown Noonan, and it's a high school and a bunch of homes, and I think it was an EF4, which they say is rare for Georgia. We do get a lot of tornado watches and warnings this time of year, as do our friends next door in Alabama. But we did have some hail on last week here in the northwest Atlanta suburbs, but we are okay here. All right, Ken, that's good to hear, my friend. Aunt Cindy says she's good. Okay, that's good. I'm glad for that. All right, well, let's see what the heck we got going on here. Happy birthday to our oldest grandson, Colton Pierce McDonald. He made us grandparents, and that was 9 years ago this past week. And he was our first grandchild and the first one of our children, obviously, to reproduce. And he is Zane's son, and he doesn't remember much about Zane. Of course, he was only 4 years old when Zane passed, and you've probably seen that picture of us sitting at the funeral with Lori to my left and Colton immediately to my right, just snuggling up between me and his mom, Abigail. And I look forward to him growing up. He knows about his dad. He knows about Zane. He knows about his 4-year-old dad, he calls him. He has an awesome dad now, Will, who's in the Navy, and he's got lots of brothers and sisters now. But we'll see how things play out as far as his interest in learning about his dad, Zane, and I have things I want to give him as he grows up, things of Zane's that we cherish, and want to tell him stories about his dad, and he just hasn't really been mature enough yet to sort of deal with all of that, and it's a difficult thing. Lori had Lori, had a little difficult episode on his birthday, thinking, we're so far away from him, and what if he forgets about his dad, and you know, um, just natural, thoughts that you have, and but he's just an awesome little fella. He's a redhead, just like his mama, and he favors both Zane and Abby, and he's the oldest now of six of them. Um, he has a sister Paisley from Zane, that is Zane's daughter, and then Will has two sons, um, Jackson and Gavin, and then Will and Abby have since had two sons, Bear and Kai, and they're the most adorable kids. And with the whole Chinese virus, we just haven't had a chance to really spend time with them. Lori and I enjoy driving up there to see them. We've done it a couple times, and we hadn't been able to. Um, let's see, Colton came down to Atlanta once last year, so we got to spend some time with him. But um, Paisley wears a trach. Paisley's 5 years old now, and she has a trach since she was months old, and so she's very susceptible to airborne, things that affect the respiratory. So she has to be very careful with that. But what a dynamo of a little girl she is, just incredible. But anyway, so happy birthday, Colton. I love that little kid. He's just an incredible little boy, and we do get a chance to video call with each other quite regular, so that's a good thing. They live in Virginia. Let's see, who else do we have here? Dan DeVlieger out in the Tempe, Arizona area. Brenda Lusk up in Michigan. I'm pulling for Michigan. I don't know about you, if anybody else has done their brackets for March Madness, but and I think there's a game on right now. Two games. Well, let's see. There should be three. I think three games today. One Gonzaga already won earlier today, and there's two games tonight, I believe, to finish up the Sweet 16. But I'm pulling for Michigan. Michigan is who I have winning it all, and they're still in it. So they have to win tonight. Alabama has to win, and from my brackets, and then I have them against each other. And I've lost on the other side already. But if I'm still in the game, if Michigan continues on, um, okay, Lord, let me look in the chat here because I'm not always 100% accurate. Lori's helping me out there. Um, Paisley is 6 years old. I thought that was right. She's a little mature for five. She's six. All right, let's see. Matt Aaron's in there, and Brenda Lusk. Brenda, that's why I brought up Michigan. I'm pulling for Michigan. I don't have. I just I just followed the last. I always just follow the last few weeks of the season, and then that's how I go about doing my brackets. Actually, I won the first round. I won a $50 gift card. I'm in a pool at work with one of our business partners, and I was in first place until last night when Villanova lost. Um, and I dropped to third place, and now I'm currently at sixth place, even though I had Gonzaga winning. So did some other people. But anyway, it's always kind of fun to play around with. Katie Aaron's in there. All right. Well, we're caught up with everyone that is on board with us. Let's see. Well, geez, we had an incredible week here at the house, to say the least. We had Caitlin's family here. I think I mentioned they got here last Sunday. Um, I think they were here when we were on Speaking of Zane, but her parents, her sister and husband and daughter, and her sister-in-law and son. So there were, I think, seven or eight of them, maybe nine or 12 or a dozen. I don't know. There was a bunch of them here, but we had room for everybody. Everybody was comfortable. They used our place as kind of a launching point to go do a whole bunch of things. And they checked off a lot of things on their list in and around Atlanta, and we were glad they were able to stay here. But here's the goofy part: Lori and Lisa are friends. You know, they're both grandparents to the same baby, Carson, and have become friends over the last couple years since Jack and Caitlin have been married. But Lori didn't even get to see him the whole time. Lori was sick from the day before they got here to a couple days after they left. Lori was out. She was sequestered upstairs, and her doctor thinks she had the virus based on the symptoms and severity and everything. But anyway, so she played it safe and only exposed her germs to me because I sleep right there. But I'm fine. I feel great, except we've got pollen in the air right now. This is the time of year, if you've ever visited Georgia, especially, the pine trees begin to pollinate this time of year and usually last about a week, severely about a week, couple weeks at last, the pollen from the pine trees. And that got most of us here real quick over the last day or so. And we're taking the Zyrtec and everything you can imagine. But anyway, Lori didn't even get to see Lisa, Caitlin's mom, the whole time they were here. But they left, and then Lori started feeling better. And our friend Arlene Sowers from Savannah, who really over the years kind of became our second mom. I mean, as close as you can be to having parents that aren't your own. Just a great friend and a fellow church member down in Savannah, and our kids and grandkids, and her grandkids and our kids all grew up together. And anyway, so she drove up from Savannah and got here Thursday late afternoon, I guess it was, or Thursday afternoon, and she left this morning. And but Lori was able to get up and out and about and feeling better, and was able to spend some time with Arlene. So we had a good time with her, and she left and went back this morning. Let's see. Now, next Saturday, my dad and my sister are coming on Saturday morning. I think they're going to come. They live about 3 hours south of here. But I think you guys remember my dad, a few years ago, was inducted into the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame. And every year they have a new, sounds like that might be news to my sister or my wife, but she talks to my sister more than I do, so I don't know why it's news, but we'll get it figured out. Anyway, every year the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame inducts a new class, and they're doing that next Saturday. They had to skip it last year. They're doing it next Saturday. Anyway, they always invite the previous recipients. So they've invited my dad, and it's up here near Atlanta. It's in Johns Creek. So they are going to come up here Saturday, come to our place, and then we'll go over to Johns Creek with them. And there's evidently some activities there. There's a miniature Vietnam Wall and some other things to do over there. So we'll do that on Saturday, and then they'll drive on back home. So that should be fun. And that reminds me that tomorrow, I didn't know this. Did anybody else know this? Tomorrow is what's called, and this must be a fairly new thing, or I've just never really heard of it, National Vietnam War Veterans Day. National Vietnam War Veterans Day, March the 29th. And I looked it up even, and sure enough, it's true. That's tomorrow. So for all you Vietnam veterans, if my dad's in there, my dad often sneaks in here without me knowing about it, and then I know if he can't make it, he'll watch the replay. So Dad, happy Vietnam War Veterans Day. Now my dad hates things like that. My dad hates to be recognized or to be. He's softened a little in his 70s. He's softened up a little bit, and he'll play along, but he's never really been big on that. The way he looks at it is he was doing the job that he went to do. And that's just what you do. and he's the son of the greatest generation. Those that were the generation before him set the standard, for how you behave, and I think those that served in Vietnam certainly were the sons of that era, and they had role models. And my dad doesn't, make a big deal about it, never has. And anyway, he is there. There he is. But he's somebody that I've looked up to my entire. Well, I won't tell you how old I am, but um, since I first arrived back in 1963. And anyway, we do have some other birthdays coming up. Lori mentioned, and let's see, yeah, let's see, what's today? Okay, so it'll be this week. Yeah, so get this. Jackson and Caitlin share the same birthday. They share the same birthday. I think Caitlin's 1 year younger than Jackson, though, so I don't think they were born on exactly the same day. But what are the odds of that? How about that? Two people that get married, they have the same exact birthday. What is their birthday, Lori? Is it April 2nd? They're not April Fool's Day babies, are they? I'm terrible with dates. I'm terrible with birthdays, anniversaries, and stuff like that. Um, Friday is their birthday. Okay, so Friday is their birthday. Well, happy birthday, Jackson and Caitlin. And let's see. Yeah, Jackson should solo this week. So Jackson has been he's in a curriculum at Liberty University, and he's actually his college curriculum is flying. I mean, he's got all of the other stuff out of the way, and now everything he does for college is centered around aviation. Anyway, so he has been flying a lot lately, except for they took their little Colorado trip, which set him back some. But when he got back, his instructor put him through. He had one flight where they did 12 touch and goes. I think Jackson did them all, and she said that he's just about ready. So he should probably solo this week. We have to watch the weather here in the spring because she won't take him up. If the weather's gonna be a factor in his instruction, she won't go up. But looks like there's a lot of good days coming up this week, so he should be able to get in whatever time he needs, and then solo, and then after that he'll begin working on passing his check ride and everything. So Lori, thank you for reminding me of that and their birthday. I totally forgot about. I didn't forget about their birthday, but I just didn't jot it down tonight. Yes, April said. There's my cousin Toby. Hey, Toby. Toby, you were up here in Atlanta last week. I forgot to mention that last week. There's my Aunt Mary. That's Toby's mama, my dad's sister. All right. Well, let's see what we got here. Colton, Jackson, Caitlin, Arlene, Mom, Dad, and Sharon are coming. Vietnam War Veterans Day. And you guys probably saw the. Thank you by the way, for those of you that filled out the survey. Well, it's choose one or choose the other. I started thinking, well, should we have, especially with the sun going down later, should we do this later in the this half of the year? So I put a poll out there. Would you rather see 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock? And most people said 8. Most people are happy right where we're at, I guess. And even the people that said 9, they're usually with us anyway. But you know what I might do though? I might go to 8:30. I'm thinking seriously about going to 8:30. Just to split the difference and give folks a little more time, especially those on the central in the central time zone. But anyway, stay tuned. I'll give you plenty of heads up on that. And what about the hat of the week? So I always pick a hat of the week that has, well, I always try to, that has something to do with what we've been up to or what's going on. And usually I don't have my hat picked out until 5 minutes before. Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes it's obvious. But today I didn't have a hat identified until about 5 minutes before. And I've got this hat that I think Lori probably picked this up for me, Navarre Beach, Florida. And that's where Jackson Caitlin's house is at. That's where her in-laws live down there near Navarre Beach. So they were here this week wearing the Navarre Beach hat. So for all of you that keep track of such matters, like my friend Ken, the hat of the week, Navarre Beach. Beautiful beach, by the way. Beautiful pier there in Navarre Beach. It sits about halfway between Fort Walton Beach and Pensacola. Just a beautiful, beautiful beach, beautiful pier, beautiful part of the Panhandle there. If you ever get down there. All right, well, let's see. Let's move along here. And we did have some veteran cemetery visits this week. In fact, we had a new one. I get excited when we can add a new one to the map. And I have added a new one to the map. In fact, I'm going to share it with you here in just a second and show you where the new one is. But first, let me just say, Daryl visited Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery. And by the way, Daryl is one of several of you who have experienced the loss of a child like us. Sometimes, I don't know about Lori, but sometimes I forget that there's other people that have experienced what we're experienced. It seems so terrible, so horrendous. It's so hard to deal with that sometimes I feel like we're the only ones that have gone through it, even though we know that's not true. We've been to retreats. We've got friends who we share with who have gone through this. But sometimes I forget that others have gone through this, and I've talked about often how I've felt a certain sense of embarrassment that I had never acknowledged. I had a tough time dealing with other people losing kids before it happened to us. Anyway, Daryl also lost an adult son 7 years ago. I think it was this past week. Daryl lost his son, Daryl. And what reminded me of that is Daryl went out to Jefferson Barracks, and Daryl's son, Daryl's ashes are buried just beyond the the border of the cemetery there, out between the cemetery and the river. And anyway, so Daryl went out there this week, and then my friend Jim, who I mentioned last week, Jim made another visit to Omaha National Cemetery. That's becoming a pretty regular visit for him. He has to go right by there, and it's a very easy cemetery to get in and out of there in Omaha. And you just drive up inside, take a little left, curve a little bit to the left, and Todd's right there on the end. And our friend Todd Vanderwerken. So Jim made a visit, and then Daryl made a visit to a new place that I added to the map this afternoon called Marble Creek United Baptist Church. They have a cemetery, and the reason I put it on the map is because Daryl went there to visit and pay respects to, Daryl, was it your grandmother or grandfather on the occasion of their birthday? And Daryl stumbled on first one veteran's headstone, and then kept seeing veterans headstones, and then finally, I believe it's true, Daryl, in that cemetery there were 35 or so veterans headstones. So I'm going to add that to the list. If you scroll down, I'll show you where Marble Creek is. Let's see. What's the name of the town there, Arcadia. Yeah, it's in Arcadia. Let me back up a little bit. Which one is it? I think. Nope, not that one. There you go. So it's in the Mark Twain Forest, actually. You can see it right there, south of St. Louis. So I went ahead and added that to our Speaking of Zane Veteran Cemetery Challenge map. That's kind of cool. So Daryl, thank you. We got that one added to our list, and let me see if well, no, I won't show that there, but I'll show that a little bit later. So with Daryl's visit to JB and Marble Creek and Jim's visit, looks like we had 3 visits this week and 1 new one. So that puts us at 385 visits to 127 different cemeteries. How about that? 385. I always get excited when I see a new one. So Daryl, thanks for documenting that. Daryl had some good pictures of the headstones. It was really cool to see all the veterans and what branch they served in and what years. So kind of fun there. Kathy Cobb's in there, a friend of ours. Kathy and Gordon. Hey, Kathy. All right, let's see. What else we got here? Think of Vet Challenge. We had, that I know about. You guys usually come up with some that I didn't know about here at the last minute, and I have to type them in. But right now, that I know of, we've got 5 new ones this past week. I thanked an Air Force vet at work. I had there's a young man that works in one of our departments that I'm considering hiring to come work for me, but I wanted to talk to his boss, so I called his boss and said, "Hey, this is what I'm thinking. I don't want to put you in a bad spot." Well, it turns out he's an Air Force vet too, so his name is John, Jon, and we had a good chat. And anyway, he doesn't want to lose his guy, but he wants him to progress. And anyway, we're working on that. But I got a chance to meet a new guy, new friend, and his name is John, Air Force guy. And then I had a young lady at work, Danielle, reach out to me, and she knows I'm a member of our Veterans Employee Resource Group, and she served 10 years in the Army, and she's going to go back into the Air Guard, and she has lots of reasons for it. She has a great job at the company we work for, but she says, I feel this sort of calling to go serve some more and work my way toward that retirement. And she says, what I really want is for my kids to see it. I want my kids to see it. Evidently, her kids were younger when she was in the Army, and she says, I want my kids to see this. Anyway, it was a great conversation we had, and her name is Danielle. Of course, I told her thanks. So that was 2 I got. Then Aunt Paula. Aunt Paula, are you out there tonight? I didn't see you post anything yet, but if you are, hello. And she thanked an active duty Coast Guardsman down there in Florida. She also thanked an Army Vietnam vet. And then earlier this week, she thanked a guy that was an Air Force and Navy veteran, and he had worked with the Army. So good stuff there, Aunt Paula. And then my dad had a really neat interaction. When was that? Today, Dad? You posted it today. I assumed it was today. But he was getting gas somewhere, and he's got a Silver Star license plate. And the guy walked up to him and said, "Hey, nice license plate," and this and that. And he went on in, and Dad looked over at his car, and he had a Bronze Star license plate, Army. And anyway, the guy came back out. Dad told him, thank you, and they had a chat. And what was it? He told my dad. He says, "You're you're only the second Silver Star recipient I've ever met or something like that. But just a great story, Dad. Thanks for documenting that on the Speaking of Zane Facebook group, which is a great place that you can do that. And that had to be a neat little encounter and good stuff. Let's see. So that was 5 new thank yous this week, which takes us up to 749. So we're just one short of 750. And that's amazing in just a couple years' time that we've been able to do that. Really, it's not like we're hunting veterans, but in our daily lives at school, at work, or whatever, we're just, whenever we're bumping into veterans all the time anyway, we might as well tell them thanks, right? And that's a good stuff. Yeah, Dad said the guy had 2 Bronze Stars. That's right. Good stuff, Dad. All right, let's see. So that's the Veteran Cemetery Challenge, the Thank a Vet Challenge. And what about the organizations? Oh, I know. This is what I was going to show you guys. Let me pop this up on the screen. Share this here. Got the right. There we go. Yeah, so you guys remember, let me do a little maintenance on these banners here. Let me hide that and let me move that. Well, that doesn't do much good, does it? Anyway, you remember we had Aaron Bartle on here a couple weeks ago as a guest, and he has a thing. I think he mentioned this when we had him on. Now that I think about it, but every month they just started doing this a few months ago. A Navy buddy of his was doing it, and on the 22nd of every month, to honor the 22 a day that we lose to suicide, he goes out at this particular intersection. Where is this at, Aaron's? Is this in Livonia, or I can't remember where he said this was at, but somewhere in Michigan. I don't see any snow on the ground, so you guys must be getting okay weather now. But he goes out there, and him and his Navy buddy, and they hold up this sign here. Let me see if I can. If you're looking for a sign not to kill yourself, this is it. And then they list the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and they just have that out there on the street, and you just don't know who that might reach. And the other cool thing about it is you can see they put the those placards of the fallen there, and you can see they had Zane's out there this past week, and it's just so awesome. And just another way that Zane's memory is going to be kept alive is through that program that Aaron has up there, and I sure appreciate him doing that. Kind of a cool thing that he does out there for sure, no doubt about it. So thank you, Aaron, for that. And let's see, we'll be doing that Running to Honor 5K. It's going to be hotter than the dickens because it's what is it, Lori? July 31st, I think. I need to get us registered and build us a team, and then let you guys know about it. You can start joining our team like you did last year, and give you plenty of time to prepare for it. But let's see, what else do I have here? Let me see if I missed anybody. Taylor, okay, Taylor. That's where the VFW is, I believe, right, Matt? Where he the VFW that he supports, and some of the different activities and fundraisers he does is helping to get their solar panel system all up and running. Well, because it starts to get cold, he told us that, Lori, it starts to get chilly for them up there in the fall, so they want to keep it when it's warm for them, but we'll have to maybe we don't have to do it on the same day. Maybe we can shift hours. It's all going to go to the same. It's all for the same cause. Maybe maybe we shift ours out. I don't know. We'll think about it. We got time to play around with that. But all right. Well, we did have a couple of incidents this week. I saw this. I don't know when it was, Wednesday or Thursday, but we lost a an Army specialist, James Requenes, died while he was in Ranger training, actually. And they didn't say the circumstances of his death, but they were down in Florida, which I think one of you Army guys had to help me, but I think it's the swamp phase of the Ranger training they do down at near Eglin Air Force Base, actually, which is near where Jackson was at Hurlburt. But Specialist Requenes died while he was in training down there. And then Katie posted this, I think, a few days ago. There's an Army vet, a former child actor. I don't know if you remember this guy. I didn't know his name. I didn't recognize him. Named Houston Tumlin. He was Ricky Bobby's son on Talladega Nights. Anyway, he went on as he grew up. He went on to be a soldier. He went on to join the Army, and I don't remember what unit he was with. But anyway, he took his own life last week. I think he was but 28 years old, something like that. It's a shame. It's a shame. All right. Well, let's see. Lori, is there anything I'm leaving out for the week? Because I did leave some things out. I forgot about Jack and Caitlin's birthday. And anywho, Sharon, if you're in there, Lori now knows you're coming. I assume that you talk to my wife more than you do to me, and I'm your brother. But now she knows, so we will be ready for you guys to get here on Saturday. But everybody else, have a great week, the week before Easter. And I guess if nobody has any objections, I guess we'll just carry on next Sunday night, be Easter Sunday, but we'll just plan on speaking of Zane Sunday night anyway, if that's all right with you guys. But don't forget, when you're out and about, if you see a veteran, say thanks. And if you guys ever swing by a veteran cemetery or a cemetery and you find veterans there, veteran headstones or whatever, post it. I love reading about that, and we'll get it put on the map. But have a week, everybody. Have a great week, everybody. I'll look forward to chatting again on Sunday, and we'll look forward to some birthdays this week. We look forward to solo piloting this week. We look forward to Easter, and we'll talk about it again when we get back together next Sunday night for Speaking of Zane. It'll be the 138th edition of Speaking of Zane. Don't forget, by the way, share this with other people. If there's anybody that you know that would be interested in listening to what we talk about here and the things that we share, especially when we begin to have regular guests, let them know about this and share. They don't have to be in our Facebook group. They don't even have to be on Facebook, because I'm streaming right now to YouTube. So if you don't know the YouTube channel, ask me and I'll tell you. And you can point people to the YouTube channel, and they can watch live on YouTube, or they can watch the recording. And that'll be a great thing when we have guests, and people can always go back and watch if we have a very interesting and insightful guest, especially. So share with your friends, and they don't have to be on Facebook. So, all right, everybody, God bless. Have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday night for Speaking of Zane.